Wah. I'm glad with. So this is the fourth studio album by Lil Baby's titled WHAM, which means who harassed me. That's basically the meaning of it. Who harassed me? WHAM. Who's harassed me? Probably my. So this is the fourth studio album by Lil Baby. Before I think his last project came I think his last project came out in 2022. It's called title It's Only Me, and I listened to the album, and there's not even a one song from that album that I can remember or actually enjoyed it. Actually, while going through the song and that when it released, there was no standout track on that album, which is basically just pathetic if you think about it. So if before talking about Lil Baby's new album, I think I had to talk about Lil Baby as an artist, and what type of album music does he make for. I think for me personally, he doesn't really come across as a person who come across as a artist who focus on making an album. He makes banger single songs. He focuses on tracks instead of the whole album. So he will make some music, he will pop out, maybe he will make 20 30, maybe around 20 30, at least 15, minimum 15 or 20 tracks, and put that on an album instead of trying to go for the conceptual album thing, which I don't really blame him for. And I don't think everybody should be a conceptual album artist. It's just depends on what you want to go, and what's the actually interesting to you as an artist. If just making a bunch of tracks and putting it out as an album is what naturally interesting you as an artist, you should do that. So I had listened to his first mixtape, which came out in 2010, which is called Final Warning or Final. Oh, perfect timing. Final Warning, I think is a title from NLE Chopper. So yeah, I think I got it confused. And he has a song with NLE Chopper called some track like that, which goes really hard. Narrow roads. I think that's the title track. It's called Narrow Trucks. NLE Chopper's character to me is really interesting because I think from if you are at least familiar with NLE Chopper, you probably know that he doesn't really come across as a person who is living what he raps about, but his music has that energy. So when you listen to his music, we can feel his music, especially the short of flow stuff like that, and the album. That's so exciting to me. But I think he's not that popular anymore. He doesn't really focus on music. He has so many distractions stuff like that. I don't know what he's doing right now. So yeah, let's come back to Lil Baby. So I listened to his first mixtape, which is absolutely garbage. I don't know why he did that, why he put that out, but it kind of makes sense because you actually have to put something out as your first mixtape, I guess, and you actually improve. And he did eventually improve from the from his first mixtape, which came out in 2017. But the things that he improved, it doesn't really it's not consistent. It's usually just one or two three songs from an album, which is pretty good for a artist at this time in the whole music era. So coming back to this current present album title WHAM. If I had to be honest and say what I really think is, it's just basically not that interesting. It's just not good. It's just that it's just okay. There's a couple of songs in there. I think there's only one song in this album that I actually like, which is titled I Promise, which is not his usual rapping, which is more melodic or more singing, more R&B style. That's the only song that in this album that I enjoyed. If you're talking about lyrics, there's nothing in this he's not a lyrical miracle rapper, or there's nothing in this album that actually stands out to me as a bar or stuff like that. Not in the corny sense of he's not a lyrical miracle. He's not giving you double entendre, triple entendre, quadruple entendre, stuff like that. It's just basically okay. It's just music. It's just lyrics. It's just music, and it's good to listen to as a background music. That's what pretty much is. You can get hyped to. You can get hyped to. Lil Baby's flaw, if you're talking about Lil Baby's flaw, is probably one of the worst things that there are some times when he actually got it right. That's probably the Once I Needs a Drake track he featured on. That's some that when I heard it initially, I wasn't really that into it, but after hearing it a couple of times, I was really into it, and he actually had more energy. I think what he really needs is a really insane engineer who knows what to do with his voice, which is really surprising because he signed QC, and QC had Migos, which I think they had their engineer, they had their sound really locked in. I think whatever engineer that Migos use this year, they should put that engineer guy with Lil Baby, because his voice and his auto tune filter is really, really, really garbage, which really sucks. His flows is not that interesting, and it basically he keep the same thing going on, which works for some people, which essentially works for me. But for a full whole album, it's just really, really boring and really repetitive. And the production on this album is not that surprising. If you are listening to any Atlanta hip hop album that's coming out, is pretty much the basic, is pretty much the standard that you will get. There, of course, there are some distortion production on this album, which is really, I think, which is really popular in the current music hip hop space, from the underground to the mainstream. That's not that. I think he's kind of late to that, but that's a different thing. That's something new. That's something new to Little Baby, and he actually, I actually that makes sense, and actually I appreciate him for bringing a new type of production into his whole album, because Lil Baby has probably one of the worst generic beats the productions you can find on a mainstream hip hop, from a mainstream hip hop artist. I think he should get Drake and actually execute produce the whole album, at least one album, because Drake can actually can actually pick up the really insane beats. The features on this album is the same five people that you have probably heard of: Future, Young Thug, Travis Scott, 21 Savage, which is really about. There's one guy called Rilo Rodriguez or something like that, which his word feature is probably one of the worst thing that I have heard recently. He's trash. I don't know what he's doing. His voice doesn't feel alive. I don't know who mixed this voice, which is really, really, really garbage, and I just don't like it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I want to talk about the couple tracks, which I find it really interesting. Is the FU2X, FU2X, yeah, FU2X, FU2, FU2X track. The production and the sounds are, the production sounds to me like someone had vibrator up his ass while making that beat, which sounds really tasty, because but that's what I actually feel. I literally feel like Lil Baby and his producer had some kind of vibrator up his ass, and made that beat. That's what it sounds to me. I know that's crazy, but that's what it actually sounds to me, which is insane. And the next track is By Myself, which has Rilo Rodriguez featuring on it, which I have previously mentioned is one of the most devastating and trash features I have ever heard recently. In the track Due for a Win, Lil Baby talks about, I really watched couple of gentlemen strip you out of your boxes. What? Hey yo, what do you mean by that? That's crazy. Bob was just standing there watching some dude getting stripped. Bro, go to a strip club. Go to a strip club. Go to a bunch of annex, 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 which is really crazy. That thing is really, really crazy. I think Playboy Cardi's son's name is called Onyx. I titled my son Onyx, which is really interesting, because there's a strip club called there's a strip club called Onyx, or some pronunciation, I don't know, ONYX, some shit like that. Yeah, which is really zesty and wild, and which fits really into the whole Playboy Cardi persona or personality, because he's a deadbeat father, and he actually called alleged deadbeat father. I think he has two girlfriends or something like that. He has a kid with Celia, and he has another kid with some other girl, which is I don't know her name, but yeah, he had a couple of kids. I think he talked about on a song he had a kid when he was 27, and when he was 27, 24 and 27. So yeah, which is kind of, naming your kid after a strip club is crazy. And that song say twin. This is probably one of the most annoying song on the album, because he's desperately trying to make a hit. I know when I hear this song, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to chase a hit, and I know he's trying to make a song hit, and that's so desperate. It smells desperation. It's garbage. Fuck. I don't like it. It's garbage. It's trash. This is pretty much what my thoughts are. What my thoughts are on the album. The lyrics, the flow, the production, kind of good. And the only thing that I like about this from this album is called the song "I Promise," which is really good. I think Lil Baby should more. I think the reason why I like this is because it's something new to me. He doesn't really sing or R&B or some whatever he did that on the song. He doesn't really do that often. You get what I'm trying to say? So I think this different is new and I like that. So keep doing that. I think he should release an EP where he just drops a couple of albums that's on the same wavelength or vibe. Like I promise, and that will be really good. So yeah, rest of the album is pretty much forgettable. I think the conversation that we should have little baby fallen off, have little baby fell off. Did little baby fell off? I think he absolutely did, but not in a sense like he, not in a commercial sense or number wise or stream wise. I'm talking about his ability to make banger songs, because that's what matters to me. I don't really consider Lil Baby to be an album artist. I don't really look at him and I don't really look at him and expect him to make a conceptual album. I'm looking for banger songs. I think Lil Baby can really make any more banger songs. The reason for that is that everybody squeeze him dry. There was a time when every single hip hop song that was hip hop album that was coming out, and there would be a Little Baby feature. He had a song with Ray, he had a song with J. Cole, he had a song with Nicki Minaj, he had a song with everybody that's on Atlanta, everybody. So he had a song with every little person. I think people got tired of his voice, and with the things that he's saying, he's not something groundbreaking or different. It's just the usual hip hop bragging cars, girls, grinding it out, hustling, stuff like that, which is really good. And and these are the things that he actually lived through. So I say actually he good to hear him talk about this, but after some time you actually get bored, and that's what happened to Lil Baby. And he actually, I'm not talking about falling off in a commercial or streaming sense. I don't really care about the commercial or streaming sense. I care about it, but I don't really care about it. I care about making songs, making bangers. I don't think he can really do that, which I really hope he changes it. So he changes it. I You need to change it. So that's what I think of the album. I'm giving this a 5 out of 10, baby. Like if you like the video, dislike if you dislike the video, subscribe if you want more. Mwah.